What's going on, E-World, YouTube? It's your boy. Uh, it's raining down here today, so I ain't get a chance to go outside and do too much. And, yeah, so I had to stay in the house all day. Down here in my man cave. So, yeah, don't you guys talk about my man cave. Yes, this is my little man cave. It's down in the basement. No, this is not my bedroom. Actually, it's my man cave / dog house. I'm sure some of you older guys know what dog house is, and that's when you get in trouble. You get sent down to the dog house. But I try to make it sound slick and call it a man cave, but basically my little dog house. But anyway, I'm good with it. I love being in my little dog house, man cave, whatever. But anyway, just want to give y'all a brief update. Like I said, since I couldn't do any riding today, let's see. First off, as far as the little Gigabyke demonstration, I think I told you guys that was done. That was ready to go. We put a new controller in. You can see it down there. And what I have to do now is we're going to make a new battery for it. So either I was going to build a new battery from scratch, cell by cell, or I was going to buy some used batteries from what's his name? Jeru Garcia, the battery guy on YouTube, the guy that, harvests all the 18650s. He always has a whole bunch of e-bike batteries and scooter batteries, and I don't care. I know it's always going to be somebody saying, man, don't use them batteries. Look, man, those batteries are good to go, especially for the price. And this is a DIY channel, and those are DIY batteries. So, you Richie Rich guys, you on the wrong channel. Anyway, this is the old battery. And just for, as they say, shits and giggles, I was trying to see if I could get this battery to come back up. Because it was completely dead. Didn't have any juice in it at all. And guess what? I was able to breathe some life back into this battery somewhat. So I don't know how far it's going to actually go far as coming back up. But right now, like I said, I do have a heartbeat. Let me see. Let me show you. And you can bring batteries up that are completely dead by just putting the source voltage across them and letting it sit for a while. Sometimes, not all the time, because most of the time when rechargeables are completely dead or lead acids are completely dead, they will not come back up no matter what you do. But, every now and then you can get them to come back up. And when they're like this, these are 412s in series. This is a 48 volt system. Like I said, 412s. As you can see, they're wired in series. Now, you don't immediately start trying to bring one of these batteries back up by applying voltage to the total source voltage, 48 volts. I first off started bringing them all up independently, 12 volts at a time. So I set my little variable power supply to 12 volts. I put 12 volts on one. I let it sit on there for about an hour or two. Got a little pulse on one. I did the second one. Put 12 volts on that for a couple hour or two. Got a little pulse on that one. and so on and so on. Now, just with my Tesla, I ain't gonna put no voltmeter on it, just so you can see it's got some juice. Now, of course, it's bright like that, getting plenty of juice now because I got the power supply hooked up to it. But I'm going to disconnect the power supply. As you can see, I just disconnected the power supply. Now watch this. Look at there, look at there. We have a heartbeat. And even if I do them, hold on, let me stick this positive over there. All right, now watch this. Even on each 12, oh, had that backwards. Okay, check that out. And that looks nice and bright. So that's 12 volts on that one cell. Now this cell right here, I think is having a little bit more problems than the rest of them. This one is always dimmer than the other ones, but I'm going to continue to apply voltage to them. This one too. And the last one. So, they're all are coming up, slowly but surely. Now, like I said, if I go across the whole thing, yeah. But anyway, I'm going to continue to try to bring this up. Now, even if I get this up to 48 volts, we're not going to use this old battery. For one, it's very old, so it's not going to be dependable. And even if we get it up, most likely, I've seen it before, even if you get it up, most likely it's not going to hold a good charge. So it's not going to be very dependable far as range. It might run for a little bit, but it will not get anywhere near the range it's supposed to get. It'll be going dead probably in about 5 or 10 minutes if it lasts that long. And not only that, we're also not going to use it because, like I said, this is old technology for one. And these batteries are heavy as crap. This whole battery, this complete battery system weighs about 50 pounds. I don't even understand why they would put 50 pounds worth of battery in a little bike like that, but they did. And that battery makes that bike awfully top heavy. And to be honest, as heavy as this battery is, it's almost like having a little engine in the bike. So no way would I recommend putting this battery back in the bike, no matter what, when I can put a battery in there that probably weigh about 8-9 pounds and have a whole lot more capacity and work a whole lot better. But like I said, just for shits and giggles, as they say, I was trying to resuscitate it. So that's where we are with the Gigabyke. This is the little folding Vivi bike. I think that's how you say it, Vivi. And look at that. I really like this little bike, man. Because look how it folds up. I mean, when you talk about portability and convenience, that little bike is awesome. Now, no, are you going to be hitting 40 miles an hour on that little bike? Not hardly. But that is one that you can throw in the trunk and go anywhere and ride on bike trails, take it in elevators, in the mall. It looks like a regular bike all day long. The average person would never even know it's an e-bike. The battery actually goes in this little zippered pouch right here. Let me show you what the battery looks like. This is the little battery. It's a little 36 volt battery. Look at that. It's 6 amp hour. So that tells you That right there alone should tell you about how much power this little bike has. It has a little 350 watt hub motor right there. But I can tell you this, for 36 volts and a 350 watts, man, that little bike does its thing, man. I mean, it's all you need. And I mean, I would love to have one of those little bikes. In fact, I'm gonna make me one of those little bikes. Cause I mean, you know, Frankenstein is a monster. And with all the batteries I got on Frankenstein, I'm up there talking about those batteries. But the battery system I got on Frankenstein is just as heavy. So I really can't talk. Because Frankenstein got about, shoot. I don't say I probably got about 40 pounds worth of batteries on Frank too. Okay, as for the Super 73. Now, I'm still trying to figure out and make up the battle plans. I'm drawing up some plans for this bike. I told you we're going to mod this bike. We're going to upgrade it to 72 volts. We're going to make this a 40 mile per hour Super 73. And not only that, I'm going to show you how to integrate any aftermarket controller. Most likely it's going to be a Saviton or, you know, something with some oomph to it. But it doesn't have to be a Saviton as far as the point that I'm trying to make, that you don't have to replace a Super 73 controller with a Super 73 controller. You can always use an aftermarket controller. You don't have to go proprietary. As much as Super 73 tried to be as difficult as possible. Look at this thing, man. They tried to make it as difficult as possible for anybody to put an aftermarket controller on this bike. And for the average person, it would definitely be a pain in the ass. You know, if you seen how that controller was in the Gigabyke, it was almost the same as most aftermarket controllers. But if you look at Super 73, they have, I mean, don't get me wrong, these are very nice harnesses. They got the little screw connection that puts them together really good so they don't pull apart. Everything is concealed. You don't see any external wires. Everything is internal. However, like I said, they tried to make it as difficult as possible. If, like in this case, the controller's bad and you got to replace the controller, they definitely want you to use a Super 73 controller. They don't want you using anything else. But as much as they tried to make it that way, it will never be that way. As long as there are wires, they can be cut and reconnected to something else. So, although they make it hard with them little small wires, we still can add an aftermarket controller to it. And let me give you a little tip. If you're ever going to remove, let me unplug this. God damn. So I can pull this out. If you're ever going to remove the stock controller and add an aftermarket controller, do not cut the wires opposite side of the controller, meaning the harnesses that go into whatever. Like, okay, say for instance, the motor wire harness. Okay, do not cut the motor wire harness on this side. Cut all the wires directly at the controller. Like when I wire aftermarket controller to this bike, because this controller is dead, I'm going to cut these wires as close as I can and get as much of the wire as I can of the controller. That way, you keep everything else intact. You know what I'm saying? You keep all these harnesses intact, you keep the motor harness intact, you are splicing into the controller wires. That way you can unscrew them at the same points just as if it was factory. So when it's time that you want to sell this bike, all you got to do is get another stock controller and connect it right back up. And you can connect it right back up because you did not cut these harnesses. Like I said, you don't want to cut the harness. Let me just make this clear. I'm pretty sure you guys understand what I'm saying, but okay. See, I just disconnected that. You do not want to cut the end off of here and splice into the harness there, because you would ruin this harness and you would never be able to connect a factory harness back to it again. If you cut it here at the controller, you know, right there, and hardwire it into your new controller, you can connect it back. Now, inside of these harnesses are the exact same wires as in any other e-bike. In this harness somewhere is going to be the throttle, the hall sensors, the phase wires, the brake wires, the low brake, the high brake, the headlight, everything, just as normal in the aftermarket controller. Those wires are going to be in there, okay? Now, there's a couple ways that you can figure out what those wires are. You can send a signal. You can unplug them from up here and send a signal through there and test here with your test light or your multimeter so you can figure out which wire is which. You know, all this is going to take some time. Or you can look it up online. You can look online, and online they'll tell you exactly what wires are what in these connectors. Then you take a continuity tester, multimeter, diode checker, resistance meter, whatever. Anything you can test continuity with. And, you know, you can test from one end of the plug to the end of the wire where you cut it. And you know what's what after you done traced it down. So, I mean, there's all kinds of ways, all kinds of tricks you can do to you know, trace them wires down. But just because they look like this, don't let that scare you. You know, you can cut these wires and then inside them are the exact same thing as any other controller. They might be really small and skinny and real dainty looking, but ain't no different. It is not any different from any other controller or any other e-bike. So, like I said, Super 73, they just wanted to make it look as difficult as possible, but it's not difficult. And to access these controllers, I'm pretty sure you already know you got to take the seat off. This controller was mounted under there. You got to remove the little screws from the top. I just wanted to take a look at everything and see what was going on while I'm trying to work out a game plan on how I'm attack this situation and what I'm going to use. I wanted to test the motor, but unfortunately, my little e-bike tester, I got an e-bike tester in here somewhere. Yeah, these little cheap e-bike testers, they work really well. They help out a whole lot. I ran mine over with my bike the other day, so I killed this one, so I ordered another one. But yeah, these are really good for testing the motors, testing the hall wires and everything. I'm going to show you how that works when I get another one another working one. But basically what you do is you clip on these little alligator clips to the hall wires, and you can spin the motor, and if it's working correctly, the lights will flash in a sequence. They have other ones that have the lights in a little circle whatever, but they make it so you can test the motor without having to take it apart and all that. So anyway, we're gonna do that when my my other new e-bike tester comes. So that's pretty much it for right now. Like I said, it rained today. I couldn't do no riding, so all I can do is just give you guys an update on what's going on. And me and the owner of this bike, we're going to discuss and figure out, you know, exactly what he wants to do. And I'm going to go from there. Look, y'all know I was having a mic problem. So at least my new mics did come. So I'm going to try out. This is the same mic system that I had. And this is the mic that I had before. This was a good working little mic. I just lost the little transmitter piece to it, so I bought another one of these, and I had them send me out another one of these. As you can see, I got the same things right there. I gotta send that one back. Anyway, let me see. Anything else? Anything else? Blah, 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 blah. I think that's it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Alright, so stay tuned. I almost forgot something else I wanted to talk about. Let me show y'all this real quick. Real quick. This is a hub motor. It's been disassembled. I said I was going to do a video about it. A lot of the Super 73 motors, this is not a Super 73 motor. Actually, this is a Zugo, my old Zugo motor. But I've seen on Super 73 website, a lot of the Super 73 motors, guys are making videos showing the motor spinning, and then you hearing all this ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, basically sounds like metal popcorn being made, and all that is debris that is loose inside of there spinning around. A lot of times, it is pieces of these plastic gears, these plastic planetary gears. Sometimes the teeth break off, and they'll be jingling all around in there. Most of the time, it is little pieces of the magnets. If you can see around all around the rim of here, those are the magnets. Now, not too often in these planetary drives, because as you can see, it's not a lot of room, but it doesn't have to be. These magnets, from hitting curbs and bumps and jumping ramps, people think they got dirt bikes, you know. These little magnets, piece of them break off, and when they break off, they fall down in that part there, and when the motor's spinning, little pieces of magnet will be jumping all around in there and jumping all around inside the hub, but that's all it is. Now, I can tell you, these motors will still run perfectly fine. You can lose an entire magnet, kind of hard to do in these planetary drives. But in the big direct drive motors, I've seen it where an entire magnet can dislodge. And the motor still run perfectly fine because there's enough magnets going around to keep that thing spinning. You know, losing one magnet isn't going to hurt it. However, if that piece of that magnet gets jammed up in between that sun gear, that's the sun gear in the middle, and these planetary gears that rotate around the outside, you know, a piece of metal, a piece of magnet, a piece of plastic, anything gets stuck down in there, then it's going to lock this motor up. So, the best thing to do, and you don't have to send your bike back to the factory to do this, man. This is easy. All you got to do is take the screws out, or it'll be you know, the other side of the hub. It's about 8 screws that go around. You remove those screws. Once you remove those screws, you take the nuts and the washers off the end of the axle. Then you can use a gear puller to remove this whole thing, or you can just push it on the ground like I did. I push it on the ground and this will pop right out. And whatever's loose in there, you take it out and put it back together. It's that easy. So don't be scared to do that. But if you continue to drive like that, man, you're going to ruin your motor. And I wouldn't send my bike back for nothing like that, man. And you know, you get to take 6 months to get your bike back when that's all it is. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. All right, deuces.